All right, so staying in the NFL, the NFL Network just dropped their top 100. I will give you a small caveat. We do not have 1 through 10 yet. Those names will get dropped tonight at, is it 4 p.m.?
I think it's four.
4 p.m. Or yeah, that tonight at 4 p.m. So we will be talking about 100 through 11. So with that said, we do have our perspective of what we think the top 10 would be, but that's for a later time, and later in the show. So with that said, the highest rated player thus far is number 11, Stephon Diggs, and number 100 was James Robinson. I'm taking that to be the running back, James Robinson. So from 11 to 100, Jay, we got our names. It's chock full of rookies. We even got a free agent out on the market that's coming in the top 70 on this roster. So give us a little, a general overview of what you think about the list thus far, and we'll go from there.
Well, I think for especially these type of lists right here, which like take into consideration every player. I don't want to. I'm not going to hammer a list like this too hard because, I mean, I don't honestly know if I could do that much better because I'm better like with positional lists. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, I'm not going to quibble with you too much at 32 and 33 if you believe Joey Bosa is a better defensive end than Quentin Nelson is a left guard. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, who am I to say that? But what I will say is there's some things that are just kind of I find a little bit odd. You brought him up pretty quickly before the show. You're like, man, what they doing to Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson?
Right.
Russell Wilson falls from the second spot to 12, and Lamar Jackson even more ridiculous. He falls from 1 to 24. I don't. I mean, Lamar Jackson. I know he was not the MVP last year, so we get that, but he did win a playoff game, which is kind of like, hey, you better win a playoff game, like because the first two seasons he couldn't win a playoff game. So he meets that accomplishment. He still ran for over 1,000 yards, still 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That's nothing to sneeze at. So I just find it hard to believe that you could drop that far. I mean, listen, I like Fred Warner. I think he deserves that big contract he got, but better than Lamar Jackson. I don't know. I like to
Hold
let
on.
me see that in the open field.
Wait. Now, I'm glad you said something about Fred Warner, and I just want to say this before I lose this train of thought, because I seen something recently. They compared Fred Warner numbers to Roquan Smith from the Chicago Bears, and his numbers was just smoking Fred Warner.
Oh,
However,
really?
Fred Warner is like this all pro middle linebacker. Just I think he's still the highest paid inside linebacker as of right now, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm with you on that. Like some of these numbers and stats and what's going on here don't add up. I just wanted to throw that out there before I forgot.
It's pretty interesting. Roquan Smith isn't anywhere on this list.
Right.
Uh, but that's just. I mean, I really find it hard to believe that those two guys still seem like top 10 guys. You know, Buda Baker, Xavier Howard, Alvin Kamara jumping from 42 to 14. Did he really do that much to vault 28 spots up the list? It's just hard to believe that you could have your 1 and 2 players last year play. Did they play as well as they played the previous year? Maybe not, but they still. I mean, it's not like they fell off a cliff or anything. Now, on the other hand, when I'm looking at other guys that dropped way down the list, Christian McCaffrey drops from 6 all the way down to 44. We get it. Man has some injuries. We understand. Michael Thomas, an even more precipitous drop. He go down from 5 to 72. I get it. I mean, this guy,
Yeah.
I don't know what was happening with him last year. I don't know what's happening with him this year. I don't know if Sean Payton knows for that matter. But he out here with the pulling the Scottie Pippen with the surgeries. So, well, we get that. Those kind of drops make a little bit more sense than these guys who were top 10 quarterbacks last year, and they just now you can't find them. George Kittle, another example. He drops from 7 all the way down to 50. We get it. Injuries. As far as the other things, I really the KJ Wright thing I just find to be really odd. Either these NFL Network people just can't evaluate players, or what? Like the 32 teams in the NFL, like it really ain't nobody can find a spot for the 67th best player in football. It's kind of weird. The other two that kind of stand out, I heard it on good authority that Cole Beasley probably could have jumped up another couple spots, but he's unvaccinated and he's quite vocal about it. So you have that going on. And I really don't know. Can we? This is disrespectful to Kyle Juszczyk and fullbacks. Can we get this guy up a few spots? You know, every time I watch a 49er game, oh, Juszczyk, he's such a key to the offense. He's more key than any of their quarterbacks out there. So be more respectful of Cole Beasley and Kyle Juszczyk.
All right, so I think I'm gonna start with the Xavier Howard point that you was making earlier. Listen, not saying that this guy is not worth the weight of the gold that they seem to be putting on him on his list, but yo, you go from non-ranked to 17, man, that's pretty. Man, I gotta start paying this guy some attention this year. I gotta actually like hone in and make sure this dude is worth the squeeze. And let's not be mistaken. I think for the most part, this roster is made up from the players around the league. So I'm assuming that the players seen a lot from Russell Wilson and enough from Lamar Jackson to say these dudes aren't playing at the same level they once played at. But I'm with you. Like, okay, drop them. No problem. We don't have a problem with players getting dropped. But like, we talking egregious here. 1-24. You know, you still got to suit up against this cat, and you know, this should be for Lamar Jackson. This should be posted up everywhere, every room in the house, all around the locker room, inside the car, on the ceiling of his car. Like, yo, y'all got the game messed up. You coming out here. Not to mention if you compound this with what happened, before the last show that we talked about the interview with Jeremy Fowler, with a Q&A with Jeremy Fowler or whatnot, and when he said that it's a reputation around the league that the defenses have caught up with them. Well, it seems that Jeremy Fowler wasn't making that up, because the other players have spoken, and he got dropped to 24. And then, like you said, Russell Wilson. Listen, that's been my guy for quite a while. Didn't have a problem with him being number 2. Got a slight problem with him being number 12. But I would say this: that show you how fickle this game is. One day you can be on top, the next day you on bottom. In football terms, so you're always I guess you're always updating your resume, or you're always taking something off your resume, and that seems to be where we at. You said Michael Thomas. I had to say something about Michael Thomas because he acted plumb fool last year. Once again, those are the things that go into these type of decisions when a lot of these guys got dropped because they got hurt. And like you said, cool. Listen, he didn't play, so you got to evaluate him as a player that didn't play. Got it, cool. But as I look through this roster, and highlighted and made it easy for you, boy, it's a lot of rookies on this list, or second-year players, I should say. There's a lot of second-year players on this list. That tells you, one, that the NFL looks like it's going to be, the sport is going to be in good hands. Going to be in some good hands. And for the sake of what we might see, you know what? I wish, and I don't know if they do this, I wonder, do they adjust this list throughout the year? And then they need to make sure they drop one when the season is over, so we could compare the two and see how close this list really was. Or was it just guys just pulling stuff out of their butts per se? So with all that said, like you said so eloquently, hey, listen, let's not be so disrespectful to the quarterbacks. Like, these are top tier guys. No disrespect to the Fred Warners and the Xavier Howards, but let's be real here. We know what position moves the needle for each team. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not cornerback. I got it. Cornerback is cool, but it's not cornerback. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. So we have to be mindful of that.
And I just also two more quick points on the overall list. If I had to pick one dude who was kind of like, oh my gosh, really that high, J.C. Jackson, cornerback for the New England Patriots, at 49, he's been in the league. He'll be entering his third year now. Pretty sure he led the league. Had 9 picks last year. He's got 14 interceptions in his first 2 seasons. So a name that you might not jump out at you, but when you look at some of the measurables or the metrics, I don't think I can argue with it. The other thing was, just to go back to quarterbacks real quick.
So hold on. So I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correct. So you saying J.C. Jackson deserved this spot, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Just go back to quarterbacks real quick. So I'm looking at, based on, because we got 4 that'll get somewhere shuffled in the top 10 tonight, with Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen. Then you have Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson. After that, and that's all the way 1 through 24, you're going to have those 7 quarterbacks?
Yes.
7 quarterbacks. After that, you have a bit of a gap. You got Kyler Murray at 39. Then you have Justin Herbert at 56. Baker Mayfield, 71. Ryan Tannehill, 83. I just think I just drew a line on this piece of paper that I just wrote down. After Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray, really? That's the it's that close between Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson? Is that what we're saying? And then then you have the second year man, no disrespect, like Justin Herbert had a great rookie season, but he's next, and then Baker Mayfield's next. I think a little bit of this is disrespectful to Ryan Tannehill. And oh, by the way, can I get an APB out for Matthew Stafford on this list?
Oh, you ain't lying. They being disrespectful. All right, Rams in the NFC Championship game.
You know who
post it up
on this list, right?
Who?
Can I get Dak Prescott? I've been told, and I understand. Like, I'm not arguing with him not being on the list, but I'm saying everywhere you go, like, oh, Dak Prescott, here he comes, got the big contract, he's ready. What? Put him on the damn list then.
But see, I guess my assumption is, we have to evaluate him from the season prior. He got hurt and we didn't see much, and then he didn't play in the preseason, so it was hard to put him on the list. I'm assuming that's the reason he's not on the list. But I agree with you. This dude is the highest paid quarterback in the league right now, I think.
There appears to be the quarterback situation right now. Like, after those top 7, I think there's a huge gap, and I think I'm looking at especially Matthew Stafford. I'm looking at Carson Wentz. I think like when I'm looking at Baker Mayfield and Dak Prescott, like I think I'm gonna go Dak Prescott probably. Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill's done some things lately that makes you wonder, like, really? He can't even get above Mayfield and Justin Herbert? God, this got me almost wondering, this got me almost pining for Jared Goff over here.
Ooh, not Jared Goff. Hey, a little bit off subject. I just want to throw this out here. Breaking news on the Drink of Wisdom. Gardner Minshew has been traded to the Philadelphia Eagles for a conditional 2022 6th-round pick. So for anybody that was trying to convince us that was a quarterback battle down there in Jacksonville, here's proof that you was full of boop. Just want to throw that out there.
I need an Urban Meyer press conference, like, right now to explain this travesty. Oh, another quarterback. Like, I don't want to forget Matt Ryan. I don't want to forget Matt Ryan. I mean, I know, he ain't been all that, but still, he got more of a resume than some of these guys. Okay, to our top 10 list. Drink, you want to go first?
Yes, sir. Let's roll it out. So I'm gonna go from 10 to 1.
Yeah, this will be our top 10. As we said previously, NFL Network gonna drop theirs later, but since they haven't done it, we'll go ahead and do ours from the remaining 10.
All right. So
top 10.
So my top 10. I'm gonna go, like I said, from 10 to 1. Number 10, I got Derrick Henry. I think right now Derrick Henry has probably put himself as the number 1 running back in the league. I don't think it's a lot. I mean, it's a few guys that can, probably give him a little run, but I think it's pretty clear cut that Derrick Henry is the number one running back in the league right now. Number 9, I got Tom Brady. Listen, I got it. Listen, we're doing this from a year to year timeline. Please, people, don't come to me talking about 6 rings, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is not a GOAT conversation. This is a 2021, 2022 conversation. This is what we think is going to happen going into this season, not the last 3 decades. All right. Number 8, I got T.J. Watt. Listen, he seems to be the only linebacker that that's in consideration, for a top 10 spot. And I don't think it's particularly close because you don't get the next legitimate linebacker until Fred Warner at 21. So yeah. And I got it. T.J. Watt is an outside linebacker. Fred Warner is an inside linebacker. For the sake of this conversation, we're just going to treat a linebacker like a linebacker. So, coming in at number 7, Travis Kelce. Now, we do know this. Travis Kelce has, for the last, what would we say, about 5-6 years, he's been in the conversation as the number 1 tight end in the league. You have guys that come. You got the George Kittles of the world. You got the Darren Wallers of the world. So it is guys out there that compete for that number 1 spot. But when you talk about level of consistency, Travis Kelce is always around 1 or 2 in the league. So that's probably why he's the only tight end that's left in the top 10 conversation. Then number 6, we go to Devontae Adams. Now Devontae Adams, this is a really unique thing because Devontae Adams is going to be the only wide receiver on this list that's going to actually be paired with his quarterback that's in the top 10 as well. So when you look at that, you got to ask yourself, Green Bay should be the favorite for something, right? I mean, they the only team that got a quarterback wide receiver duo in the top 10. We'll see how that go. Number 5 is, arguably for me, the best wide receiver in the league because I have not seen another wide receiver do more with less than DeAndre Hopkins. So I got him as my number 5 as the number 1 wide receiver in the league. Number 4, I got Aaron Rodgers. Listen, for everything that went on in the offseason, his dislike or his miscommunication, or however you want to look at it with him and the Green Bay management, that's all cool, but Aaron Rodgers is still a bad mother. Shut your mouth. So with that said, I got him at number 4. Number 3, I got Josh Allen. Now listen, I know what I just said about the reigning MVP, but here's the deal. The reason being is you got to give credit for progression. And right now, Josh Allen don't got all that, stuff going on outside the field. He's able to focus on his game. I think Buffalo will benefit from that. That's the only reason I got Josh Allen or Aaron Rodgers, because for me, that matters. That, the way you come into the season, that matters, right? For me. So I got Josh Allen, number 3. Number 2, I got Aaron Donald. I think, without a doubt, Aaron Donald is the best defensive player in the NFL. And I don't think it's been an argument for at least the last 3 or 4 years. Without a doubt. I got it. You want to say, how important could a defensive tackle be? Or defensive end, whichever position they give him, because I feel like it changed every list I look at. How important could he be? Listen, you want me to tell you how important it can be? When you over here making up sets where you got 3 offensive linemen and a tight end trying to block them. That's how important he can be. And that allows the other side of your line to wreak havoc. We did see what the Rams did in the playoffs last year, right? We didn't expect them to win their first game, and they did. They did it with what? Running game and defense. Because let's be real here, Jared Goff wasn't tearing the world up, right? So I just think with that said, Aaron Donald, I think it's a no-brainer. He's definitely the best defensive player in the league. And then number 1, do we need to say anymore? Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Listening, lightning in the bottle, number 1 quarterback in the league, still got so much of his future in front of him, still got so much of his high end in front of him. And listen, at the end of the day, when you got a generational talent like that, I think Kansas City should write a book on how to keep your generational talent happy and how to build around them and keep them healthy. And this is how you you know, season after season, you're in those final, you know, 2 to 3 games, as they say, and that's how you do it. So with that said, I got Patrick Mahomes #1, you know, Aaron Donald 2, Josh Allen 3, Aaron Rodgers 4, DeAndre Hopkins 5, Devontae Adams 6, Travis Kelce 7, T.J. Watt 8, Tom Brady 9, and rounded out with Derrick Henry at 10.
You wouldn't want the Green Bay Packers, Brian Gutekunst, to write that book for you on keeping quarterbacks happy?
Nah, I'm good on that one. That's gonna be a no for me, dog.
I had to slide that in. 10-1. I'm putting Josh Allen at 10. Look, the thing I'm putting under consideration with this, and we know like he was the, you know, and you're seeing this from time to time, almost like you see it in the NBA when LeBron James was in the prime of his career. You know, they're in a regular season, there comes like, oh, the next man up, like, oh, he's in the MVP conversation. I think Josh Allen was that guy to Patrick Mahomes last year. He was 87th on the list last year, so that's quite a jump. So I really don't think I'd probably put him in the top 10 because I'd have Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson ahead of him. But since he's in the top 10, going to the back of the line, you're at 10 for right now. Tom Brady at 9, winning Super Bowls, still doing it, everything that he's done. But I don't know if I'd have Tom Brady in my top 10. So it's just the age. That's all it is. Travis Kelce, about the same with him. I got him at 8. You had him at 7. The biggest thing for me is, and this is kind of what we had, because we talked about him and we talked about George Kittle a lot previously. This is why on last year's list you had Kittle at 7, you had Kelce at 18, and I think the reason for that, at least in my view, is I look at George Kittle as a complete tight end. Travis Kelce does all the highlight reel stuff. You know, he makes a lot of catches. He catches the football all over the place. He's going to score a lot. Him and Patrick Mahomes, they got a great thing going there. But I'm not looking at him as a guy that's going to give you, you know, all you're looking for down in the trenches in the running game with the blocking. I think that's where I give George Kittle an edge, but of course I understand that George Kittle got hurt. You got to slide him down. But that's why I'm not willing to put Kelce much higher than where he's at right now. I got DeAndre Hopkins at 7. This is a guy arguably we've been talking about for years. Like, this guy been in the conversation with best wide receiver in football for many years now. We know what he did with, you know, some of the pedestrian quarterbacks that you had at the beginning of the Bill O'Brien years, and then we saw him just get better and better. The Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins connection was something special. Still can't understand why they traded him away for, you know, a box of cookies plus David Johnson. So, you know, but I think he deserves to be in here in the top 10, no doubt. And hopefully he can keep accomplishing big things with Arizona. I got Aaron Rodgers down at 6. You know, this is a guy, he was 16th last year. You know, he's been dealing with some, you know, had some stretches where, you know, he finds himself getting hurt. But last year, you know, I said it, like, Green Bay, they over here playing around in the draft, not sure who's, you know, navigating this ship, but he came in last year, had an MVP season, said, this is who I am. And I don't know why we're already talking about, you know, putting me out the pasture. He clearly still got a lot of game left. But because of his age, I am going to keep him down a little bit more because I think you put him at 4 is fair, but I'm going to depress his value just a little bit. I got Derrick Henry at 5. I do think, like, you know, as far as running backs, you know, you may be able to give me an argument with some other guys maybe, but I mean, this is a guy we've seen him put a team on his back and carry them as far as, you know, the performance he had 2 years ago where Tennessee made it to the AFC Championship game when they beat New England and they beat Baltimore. I mean, Derrick Henry had 2 sensational games and was no doubt the reason that the Titans kept advancing and no doubt the reason Ryan Tannehill got paid. So, and got paid before Derrick Henry got paid, might I add. I got Devontae Adams at 4. And I'm not, this isn't me trying to tell you that he's better than DeAndre Hopkins, but I'm looking at what he's done recently. Because we've talked about this. This kind of goes in with Aaron Rodgers and the lack of perimeter weaponry he's had. That also affects Devontae Adams because he's out here, you know, he's the focal point of defenses, and yet it seemingly has not mattered lately. And he was fantastic last year. That's why I got him at 4. I got TJ Watt at 3. I think defensively, what he's able to do getting after the quarterback is there's definitely been a passing of the torch from Watt to Watt, if you know what I mean. I mean, it was JJ Watt, I mean, in years past that, you know, you could book him in for some defensive player of the years and all pros, and it's TJ Watt time. I got him at 3. I got Aaron Donald at 2, just like you do. I think you can make a little bit of an argument that if you talk about, is Aaron Donald a better defensive tackle than Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback, I think there's a legitimate argument to be had there. But what I don't think you can argue is Aaron Donald cannot affect the game like Patrick Mahomes does. I mean, that's just the nature of the importance of the quarterback position. And with that, obviously, Patrick Mahomes falls in line at number 1. And I'm not going to explore that any further because I don't think I need to.